Graham project, gravity assisted pulse motor two-stage oscillator configuration. We placed 100 pounds on the far end, and we have what was that, 25 pounds on this end, and yeah, we're getting good results. Manual operation, just moving it down. We removed the springs from the pendulums. It turns out it was just fighting itself, and if we can get the electromagnet to produce this sort of result with the pendulums, we should have a nice output. Or a nice power production at the output. The other thing we did was we disconnected the extra gears, so increasing it by a factor of 3. Man, it really sucked a lot of energy out of the system. So we'll be moving the flywheel to a new location back on the output shaft. See what kind of results that gets. The other thing we noticed was we'll definitely have to install the magnetic bumpers to limit the swing of the balance beam. And what was the other thing? Oh, because the center, or the pivot point, is off-centered. I'm getting different results from what other people on YouTube are getting. The off-centered pivot point, if you had a small motor and a gear or a chain, a rope wrapping around a shaft to reset the weights, the offset pivot point would probably be a good idea. What was the other thing I wanted to add? We'll definitely be adding a second balance beam with pendulum and weight configuration, and we'll have to do some major surgery and reconstruction on the drive transmission and the frame to accommodate the extra rack and pinion. But springs, bad idea. We'll be taking the springs off the other end as soon as we get the magnetic bumpers installed. And 100 pounds is, man, that's the limit. Especially for these 2x4s. I got to do some serious reinforcement on the frame, and take it from there. But so the big question at this point is will our electromagnet and magnet configuration provide enough torque or enough pushing power to get good results out of our pendulum. The heavier the bob, the more force is required to get the pendulum to swing. Oh, something's rubbing. Anyways, so there's a bunch of small stuff we got to work out. Oh, that's the squeaking of the frame. Okay, so this is basically just to document, experiments on when they're completed. But spring's a bad idea. Beefier frame. Probably a better part of the pivot location. Probably in the middle, like everybody else is using, if you're using the pendulums. Oh yeah, and the increased RPM on the gear train is really sucking a lot of energy from the system. So we'll discontinue that and relocate the flywheel and post results when available. A couple of days away from doing an electrical test, with the generator. But we'll post results when available. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the day. Cheers. But we're getting a nice RPM at the output, even with what is that? A 1 to 3 gear ratio. Yeah, so one rotation on the big gear is causing the secondary shaft to spin 3 times, or 3 full rotations. Man, where's that rubbing? Anyways, and we'll be adding the bumpers. Cheers. Enjoy the day.